Thank you. Colleagues, October is Anti-Bullying Month. Is everyone aware of this?
Yes, sir.
We have several advocates for anti-bullying standing with me today. And in just a bit, I'm going to have Monica Harmon, founder of Speak Out Against Bullying. I'm going to have Deputy Chief Jorge Villegas, LAPD Operations Valley Bureau, and Deputy Chief Jose Perez, LAPD Operations Central Bureau, speak. I also want to acknowledge Tyler Eisen, President of the LAPPL, the Los Angeles Police Protective League, representatives from GLAD, Lisette Durate, Special Needs Network, Dennis Cato, LAPD Commander, Operation West Bureau, and Captain Martin Baeza, LAPD Holland-Beck area.
And Sergeant Daryl Davis from Hollywood area. Don't forget him.
Sergeant Davis, welcome.
Got it. All right.
My buddy. Thank you, Sergeant Davis. This morning, I'm joined by law enforcement personnel and all of those organizations I mentioned. The month of October 2013 marks the 8th annual National Bullying Prevention Month. Days throughout the month of October have been designated as ways to show support and bring awareness of bullying. October 9th as Unite Against Bullying Day, and October 17th, yesterday, when millions of Americans wear purple for Spirit Day as a sign of support for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender LGBT youth, and to speak out against bullying. My first speaker, Monica Harmon, began in 2011 a campaign against bullying by creating Speak Out Against Bullying. My colleagues, Monica Harmon.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you so much for this honor. You know, I'm standing here before you, but really this is a day that we need to bring awareness and inspire action for all the victims of bullying, and for the kids who bully, who we need to help modify their behavior. I've been in front of thousands and thousands of children throughout Los Angeles, and I'm thankful that my partners with LAPD have been there with me at school assemblies, parent group meetings, town hall meetings, and more. And so I just can't thank you enough for this acknowledgement, because bullying begins with us. Each and every one of us needs to do our part, because just this week, another 12-year-old had committed suicide and there was an arrest. We need to show kids that there's a better way. They need to be more respectful and compassionate of each other. Too many children all across Los Angeles that I have spoken to are afraid to go to school because of bullying, and we need to do our part. We cannot ignore it anymore. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Harmon. My colleagues, here are some very startling statistics. Over 3.2 million students are victims of bullying each year. 1 in 4 teachers see nothing wrong with bullying and will only intervene 4% of the time. Approximately 160,000 teens skip school every day because of bullying. 1 in 7 students in grades K through 12 is either a bully or a victim of bullying. 56% of students have personally witnessed some type of bullying at school. Over 2/3 of students believe that schools respond poorly to bullying, with a high percentage of students believing that adult help is infrequent and ineffective. 71% of students report incidents of bullying as a problem at their school. 90% of 4th through 8th graders report being victims of bullying. And if you're in the LGBT community, it's even worse. 20% of homeless youth are LGBT. In comparison, the general youth population is only 10% LGBT. Homelessness of our LGBT youth is often the cause of bullying. LGBT youth once homeless are at higher risk for victimization, mental health problems, unsafe sexual practices. 58.7% of LGBT homeless youth have been victimized, compared to 33% of all other youth. LGBT youth are roughly 7.4 times more likely to experience acts of violence than other youth. And the suicide rate is 62% higher than all other youth. We have a lot of work to do, and the people standing with me today are doing that incredible work. Speak Out Against Bullying empowers students and informs parents of how to effectively deal with bullying, cyberbullying, the use of responsible social media, respect, and tolerance. Let's see. In May, if I may direct your attention to the TV screens for a short video report on the event. And I understand we have the video queued up now.
Well, October is National Anti-Bullying Month. The LAPD teaming up with a special program to teach kids that bullying is wrong. KCAL 9's Dave Lopez shows us students who share their stories of being victimized and others who are explaining what they've learned.
Have you been bullied?
Yes.
Isabel is 10 years old, a fourth grader. She said she was bullied 2 years ago at a different school by older girls because of the color of her skin.
I didn't fit in very well because I was half black, so they would tease me on my hair, and I was very scared to even wear a ponytail.
What happens when a kid is mean to another kid?
It's a question that many students, quite frankly, don't know how to answer. That's why such a push. That's the reason that October is Anti-Bullying Month. Awareness, so that young children like Isabel won't be victims.
They never really physically hurt me, but it just felt like they were hurting my feelings a lot.
That's just one story, experts tell us. One of thousands that happen almost every day somewhere in a school in the United States. Someone getting bullied. And the experts say the best way to combat it is to teach a child at a very early age. You can do something about it.
The right thing to do is to stand up and say, hey, why are you picking on him?
They listen to a lecture, politicians and police officers telling them bullying is wrong.
If you don't tell anybody, he'll think he can keep on making it worse, and he will.
The message of don't put up with it seemed to sink in.
Bullying is wrong and never to do it, and there are consequences to your actions. I never knew how many kids are bullied. They talked about that 6 out of 10 kids are afraid to go to school because of bullies.
The subject grabbed their attention. And what else did they learn?
Be peaceful and just ignore him and walk away.
Yeah, but what if he goes after you?
Then you walk a little faster.
From Hollywood, Dave Lopez, KCAL 9 News.
Very smart. Wonderful. And colleagues, before I bring up Chief Jorge Villegas and Chief Perez, I'm going to ask our LAPPL President, Mr. Tyler Eisen, to say a few words.
Thank you, Councilman O'Farrell. Thanks, Council, for recognizing Monica Harmon today. It's been a great honor for us to participate with Monica. I'm glad she approached us. And I'm really glad that she's getting some recognition, because Monica Harmon isn't just about bullying. She's about the city of Los Angeles and making the city of Los Angeles better. There have been times in the not too distant past, and I wouldn't refer to it as bullying, but Monica has been very expressive to me about how she hasn't agreed with some of the things that I've done. But the one thing that you can always count on from Monica, and it's demonstrated here, is that she is all about the city of Los Angeles and what's right. It doesn't matter what you've done in the past. It doesn't matter what you'll do in the future. So if she's been mad at you in the past, I'm evidence here, standing here today, that you can get back on her good side if you do the right thing. And we would all be better off if we all had a little bit more Monica Harmon in us. So thank you, Monica.
Thank you. I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have two strong Irish Native American sisters to protect me through school, like Monica. Okay, I would like to invite Deputy Chief Jorge Villegas, LAPD Operations Valley Bureau, and Deputy Chief Jose Perez, LAPD Operations Central Bureau, to step up.
Good morning. I wanted to come before this council to say thank you for my appreciation for the acknowledgement of Monica Harmon. Monica Harmon has been working in the community very diligently for a long period of time, and when she came up with this campaign to address bullying, to address the issue of respect in young people, it resonated with me, as it did with many of our area captains, senior lead officers, and our community relations officers. It's a very popular program that's out there in the community. It's very popular with the schools In fact, there's so much of a need, there's so many requests that we can't fill them all. So I'm very thankful to Monica Harmon for all of her efforts. The issue of respect and bullying is something that we need to continue to campaign. Thank you.
Morning. I've known Monica almost half of my law enforcement career. We started working together at Hollenbeck when I had the gang unit at that time. And she was helping us not only with our officers, but also with the community and some of the outreach that we were doing. The one thing that I arrived at Central Bureau, and she invited me to her first one in my tenure there. I went to it, and I was amazed at the reception that she received and how well the kids really absorbed all this. The other thing that was quickly evident to me that in all the projects I've worked with her, this is the one that she's been the most passionate for, and I can honestly say that she's as passionate and committed to this as she is lovely, and it's great to have her working with us as a partner with the Los Angeles Police Department. Thank you, Monica.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Clearly, we all need Monica Harmon on our side. I'd like to present Speak Out Against Bullying with this resolution declaring the month of October as National Bullying Prevention Month in the City of Los Angeles. In closing, because of the fine work that you are doing, Ms. Harmon, and the people standing with me and many people in this chamber, the end of bullying begins with you. Congratulations.
And as Betsy takes those pictures there, Mr. O'Farrell, some of our colleagues have great statements. Mr. Buscaino.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to join the Peace Choir and stand against bullying. What I have seen in my days with the police department and looking, reviewing crime reports that stemmed from bullying, we need to do everything in our part based on what I saw as a police officer for nearly 15 years. And who was on the forefront? Monica Harmon. You've seen Monica be vocal, be a champion for our kids when it came to crime prevention, gang prevention, intervention at Community Police Advisory Board meetings, CPAB meetings. Monica, I want to say, even the time when I formed the teen CPAB, you were there with me. You stood with me, and we offered a voice for the teenager, the teen population, where we agreed that when teenagers speak, people listen. And who better to problem solve on the issue of bullying than our teenagers? They have a powerful voice. So Monica, we congratulate you. We thank our community members who are here, our police department, Eleanor Montano, a pillar in the Wilmington community for focusing on this issue. And just last week, my wife Jay is here. She's been a teacher for 15 years with LA Unified and has addressed this issue in her classrooms. Just last week, our son came home with a sheet of paper on focusing on bullying prevention. And we sat down at the dinner table with him to talk about cyberbullying because he's never heard of it. So what you are doing is working. We thank you, we love you, and if we have any opportunity to save someone's life and raise this awareness in our city and beyond, throughout our country, you guys are doing a great job. God bless you, and thank you for your efforts.